man, welcome back to the Gray Space. I'm Zeke. That is Dre.
Yepers.
And we are back with another fire interview for you guys.
Yes, we are back. But before we get going, y'all know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment because you are loving the content. Apple, Spotify, leave nothing but a 5-star review. Now, what you heard, just a 5-star review. Now, we got a special guest in the building, my guy.
That we do, man. That we do.
And our guest today is an entrepreneur out of Phoenix. His show, African American Made, showcases other black entrepreneurs and their endeavors, their businesses, to potential supporters and consumers alike. He also just recently started the Rayshon and Shaka podcast with Mr. Rayshon himself, where they cover a wide variety of topics. He's here to talk about all of that, plus tell his story on the only place stories originate. Please welcome Mr. Shaka Shabazz to the Gray Space.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
man.
I think you already, look, I'm already doing it. You already gave me instructions.
Just relax.
I'm about to grab it and shove it in,
Relax. We all good, man.
All right, man.
We got you.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a blessing to meet you guys.
Yeah, man.
Here.
Likewise.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been playing tag with getting you on the show, but finally, awesome to have you here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Timing is everything.
Yes. Timing is everything. Good friend of friends of ours, not just TJ, but Miss Kathy Blaze as well, and a couple others.
Yes. Great people.
Yeah, awesome people. Yeah. And you know, anytime there's any type of recommendation from any one of those, we always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's true,
and then as we kind of we're diving into what you do as far as the shows. It's like, okay, we don't really have that out here, right? As far as somebody showcasing other businesses, especially in Arizona, where I feel like a lot of times it seems to be a crab in the barrel mentality. And so for you to be doing that, I mean, I've talked about it multiple times on the show where we need places where we can find these businesses. I mean, there's so many hidden gems, jewels throughout the city, throughout the outer cities, the Chandlers, the Buckeyes, whatever. You just don't know where they're at. And so for you to do that is amazing. Talk to us about, you know, kind of leading up into that show, kind of how you got into it. We talked before we got on, and you went to Crass as well.
I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
Alumnus, alumni.
Yeah. One of the two.
One of the
Right.
Yes.
So obviously you have a history of being in music, being around the boards and stuff like that. Talk to us about kind of your journey and how you got to the show African American Made.
Oh, man. So it wasn't a direct line for sure.
Okay.
Went to Crass, I did music. Thought I was going to be a hip hop producer, R&B producer, things like that.
Let me stop you I'm sorry, man. I know it's super early, and I usually never do this.
I'm sorry,
but you just caught me off guard. Like, did you make music? Did you actually like make beats and stuff like that?
I had the full scale thing. I put the cart before the horse. I had a full-fledged home studio. Before I went to Crass.
Okay.
I went to Crass because I felt like I had kind of plateaued. I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. It was always my dream to go there back then. So I went, and the track you do that, and you got to do an internship and all that. Got broke.
Yeah.
Well, I was broke when I went there, but I was even more broke.
For sure.
So, I had all this equipment, and I had this great education, and things were just real bad. Come around 2008, had to crash and everything, and the brother had to get a job, So that still had to, all the gear. I mean, every penny I could find, I was buying something. Remember when Guitar Center used to be the joint, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Guitar Center used to be like Disneyland back in the day, for those who don't remember.
It still is Disneyland.
No, it's a shell of what it used to be. I went in there a few days ago, and it's
really?
like, you used to have rows of keyboards. Remember that? I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Rows of keyboards, all kind of peripheral stuff. I mean, now they don't even have any of that stuff in there.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
Even the DJ stuff used to be like the live sound and the recording studio they had in there with the racks of gear. They have pictures of the racks of gear.
No,
they don't have the actual gear in there anymore.
It's all pictures
It's like
and stuff?
Yeah, like full blown like life-size pictures of what the gear.
That's
you know,
crazy.
the outboard gear. So anyway, I say all that to say that got out, and just had to went to work, man. I went to work, and my passion and my dream for getting into the business and turned it into a professional hobby, and from there, how it went. So fast forward a few years when the internet thing started popping off, which I learned now I'm really, really late. I'm like 15 years late. But I always had this idea to do a show. I didn't know how to do it. Didn't know how to put it together. I was from the audio, music era. Didn't know how the whole internet thing was work.
Right.
YouTube was popping.
Right.
And so initially I had an idea to do something, and I wanted to do maybe some kind of review or some kind of man on the scene type thing at a restaurant or something like that.
Okay.
In later years, obviously everybody was doing that. So I want to do something more community-based, something where I'm contributing, something a little more narrow it down. And I came up with the concept, well, maybe I should profile and showcase businesses. And then I said, well, maybe I should profile and showcase African-American businesses. That's kind of like a niche thing. And people are coming here every day, right? I mean, all the time. Just droves of people here, and they're always looking for the spots. They're looking for who's the hot barber, who's the, where the churches are, and things like that. So I thought that it would be a great idea to put that together. Took me 2 years to put it together and decide how I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I kept messing around with it, researching what I need, and that rabbit hole, right?
Yes.
They tell you need an iPhone and a ring light, and you come to find out, no, that's not what you need to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do things with a ring light and a phone. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
So got the gear, and then I came to the point where I needed to actually get out there and start, talking to these people and figuring out how I'm going to do this. And kept on, just messing around with it until someone said, "Hey, look, just go out there and record someone." It's going to suck. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
And I wanted to come out the gate professional. I want to come out the gate looking like this. It's not going to happen that way. So it didn't. And once I did the first video, Wings and Things, shout out to Wings and Things. I don't know if y'all been there. Fire.
Yeah.
That was my first video. And, I bust the cap off the top, man. I've been doing them every day. I mean, not every day, but every week since then. It's been a year now.
Dope.
And I've showcased so far about 50
Dope.
that are on the site, a few that are not on there that I've done that I'm, in the works. But yeah, I've met some wonderful, amazing people that are just on the grind doing their thing. Now, the main reason I went that route is because, for several reasons, and I have to say this because, I think it's important to what we all do here. In media, as much as what we do, we still seem to can't get out of that bad stigma. The negative stigma and the negative stereotypes, right? As many people as we have, like on a national scene, that are doing some amazing things, right? Ball players, rappers, business people. We still seem to get this, the man on the block, the everyday brother and sister, still seem to can't kick that stigma of that negative stereotype.
Right.
So I wanted to showcase just everyday people trying to get it on the grind doing it.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
The local mom and pop spots, the therapist, the brother concierge, you name it. People that are opening up their own, small restaurants,
food trucks, whatever.
Food trucks, you name it. So many people, and there's so many professions and businesses that I have yet to do, that I have I have plans to do. But there's so many more than I even imagined.
I mean, you said 50. like, that's incredible because like you said, so much more than you imagine. You wouldn't even think maybe you got 10 in the city, 50 black-owned business, whatever it is. Like you said, therapists, food trucks, whatever. Because a lot of times, again, we're out here and we're giving our dollars to other businesses just because of the sheer fact that we just don't know. And they're not going to pop up on the Yelps.
Exactly.
They're not going to pop up on the Googles. They're just not going to pop up, right? Even some of the local businesses that are not black owned are going to show up before the black owned businesses, right? And so 50 businesses is incredible, and the fact that you still have the room to find more, to get more, because there are more, right?
Yes.
They're just, the fact is there are. So that's incredible.
Yes, and you make a good point. When I first started, I'm like, okay, there aren't that many black people out here, right? So this was going to be easy, right?
Okay.
And everybody, we all say that we're all spread out here, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, I should be wrap this up in a minute, right? And then I just learned, and I mean, those are the people that responded. Those are the people that I've, actually done the videos with,
right?
Outside of the ones that I've made contact with, but haven't done the video with,
okay.
Right? And there's so many more. So there are way more people out here doing things. The thing about the Yelp thing or the directories is this, and that was the first. Trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Obviously, Shaka, you're one person. You can't go door to door to all these places all over the valley.
Right.
I ended up trying to do that anyway.
Right.
When you go to these directories and you say soul food, well, I mean, black soul foods are not going to just be extracted from that list or whatever you're looking for, right? So, painstakingly going through this to find these businesses.
Right.
But this is the beauty in finding some of the businesses. They know other business owners and they refer you to them.
Got you.
And once you start getting in a community, then you kind of start hearing about other people and what other people are doing. You start getting in circles and things like that.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it's worked for me. My goal was 100 videos by past July.
Okay.
And, that didn't happen for several reasons, but got sick in the interim and things like that. But that was my goal. And to reassess, figure out what worked, what didn't work. Now, mind you, I'm still growing with the equipment. I'm still growing in the knowledge of even how to do this thing. Mm-hmm. I'm a one-man show, so I pack up all the stuff in the car and I go wherever the business is.
So you go to the actual businesses?
Yeah, so that's the niche for me, is that I want to talk to the business owner.
Okay.
In their environment, in their establishment. It's it's a larger task than I thought. It's very rewarding, but
it's a lot.
So the restaurant thing is kind of hard to do because they're so busy. It's all, a restaurant always have a bunch of moving parts going on all the time.
Right.
So I haven't been doing as many restaurants because it's just getting the schedule together to do that is very it's just a lot of work. But that's the way I do it, and
that's incredible.
Yeah, and I got to hand it to you too, because we're from California, right? Yeah. And the thing that we talk about a lot is the mom and pop shop.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because here in the Phoenix area and all the suburbs of it is overshadowed by the super Walmarts, the super Targets.
Mm-hmm. The chain places.
They are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, fine, whatever, you shop there, that's cool, but it's different in California, and I don't know how to explain it to people that don't know California, because it's about the mom and pop shop. And look, there's still the Walmarts and the Target, there's still all the chain stuff there too.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the mom and pop is showcased in California. It's almost like they're giving a platform already, or it's already been established. Mm-hmm. So I have to hand it to you because, like Dre said, there's really nobody doing that here to showcase these businesses in that kind of light. Like, man, come to this food truck, come to this fashion shop, the thrift shop, come to, whatever it is, because I think we need to see that as just a citizen, or as somebody who lives in the Phoenix area. We need to see this more and more, Yeah,
I thank you for that. But there's a point I want to make about African American made, because I've gotten some pushback on what I'm doing. Not to take it in a negative light, but African American made is to showcases and promote African American businesses. Mm-hmm. Those businesses don't care who come in and buy their burger, their shoes, their hats,
of course.
Who comes in and get their services or practice. Yeah. It's not excluding anyone. Right. It's basically introducing those people or those businesses through my platform to the community. Yeah. For anyone to come to. Right. So it's not saying black people here, these are the black businesses, only do business with black people. It would be insane to do that, because there's far too many services that and products and expertise that are out there that no one community does it all. Right. Right. So it's just saying, hey, look, these guys are here, and check them out. If you support, or because there are people that look for African American business they want to support first. But if they go to 3 stores that day, 2 of them are going to be non-black stores, right, or whatever, because that's just they don't serve every need to the community. Right. Mm-hmm. No group does that. Right. So I'd like to make that point real clear. Some people kind of really question the African American made thing, So
and that always seems to be an issue whenever that topic comes up. And I always feel like if you have a problem with it, there's a much deeper issue that you have. Absolutely. Because you should understand is that the light is just not there. And if it's not shined upon these businesses, it will never be there. Yes. And it historically, like, now go do your research, go do your history, so you can understand why you're doing it. And so for those people who are saying that, there's a bunch of rocks in Arizona. Take your feet out there and go kick them. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. Because
from a personal level, I think that some people, black people, I'm talking specifically about black people, we really have a problem with espousing that black thing. Like, you don't have to be Stokely Carmichael or Martin Luther King out there, pumping your fists every day to 100% to be proud of who you are 100%. And still engage with the community and the world around you. Yeah, that's just life. No other groups do it all the time. They are proud of who they are. They're proud of their heritage, their culture, their race, and their religion. Yep. And they do business with the world. Right. Mm-hmm. We, for some reason, maybe it's because of our track in America, we're to a point now where we think that we just got to, like, in order to engage with the rest of the world, we got to fall back on who we are as black people. Right. And we're not a monolith like any other group, right? 100%. We're as different as the rainbow. But I noticed that, and I've seen that more even with doing African American made, because some businesses I've gone to and they're like, well, the first thing they want to tell you is, well, I don't just do business with black people, and it's not what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they'll phrase the conversation about an all inclusion conversation. Gotcha. And that's fine in its proper context, but that's not what African American made is about. So I just like to say that, not to harp on. I just like to say that because
No, I'm glad you did.
Simply because we say we're black doesn't mean that we're excluding anyone. 100%. Our history hasn't been one of exclusion. It's been one of being kicked out or not allowed to be entered. Right. So I think some of us kind of like we do that reverse thing, right? We kind of have that conversation with each other about inclusion. Like, I'm not the one you should have it with. I never kicked anybody out of anywhere. Right. I never denied anybody, a plate of food because they call it their religion or 100%. Anything. So that's been our history. Right. So, African American made, while we do showcase and promote African American businesses, we welcome the community because our community isn't comprised of, in a place like Arizona, it doesn't comprise of only black people.
Right.
In fact, I had a conversation with my co-host on the other channel about this one time. We're talking about the community. We like to say the community, and I was like, well, where do you live, man? He said, well, I live in Acadia. That's your community.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. It's for you black dudes over there, right? That's your community.
Yeah.
But we say community as a euphemism for race because we don't want to say race.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? We don't want to say race. We want to say community, because if you say community, what community in Arizona is a black community of nothing but black people?
Right.
I'm from New Orleans. At the time I left, it was 80-90% black in the city, right?
Okay.
So you could say that was a black city. You walk in your neighborhood, you didn't see none but black folks.
Right.
You see, non-black people that would be coming through, riding through, collecting, they're collecting rent, or they're riding the bus, something like that. So, but today, but more specifically Arizona today, we're a very diverse, we have very diverse communities.
100%.
You can't say it's just this, it's just that. So when you say community as a black person, what are you trying to say?
Right.
Now you say, well, we as a black race in Arizona, well, we don't really get a lot of shine for one reason or another. We're not really getting those dollars or whatever, those business dollars or what have you. That makes more sense to me. But when you say in my community, well, your community is where you are, and your community comprised of all different types of people.
Right. 100%.
So, I just wanted to
great point.
Yeah.
Great point. So talk about that transition, because I know for us, having the musical background, and being kind of behind the scenes a little bit, and then moving into, especially when we started doing interviews, was a hell of a transition, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to hold a conversation that's kind of guided, right? Because a lot of podcasts are kind of loose. Most podcasts are kind of loose. Mm-hmm. So when you get into the interview space, even for podcasts or whatever you want to call it, shows, it has to be somewhat guided, right? Like there has to be a level of structure to it.
Absolutely.
How was the transition for you? Because I know for us, like it took them. There were like, we still go back and talk about some of the early ones that we did, and we're like, man, I wish I could redo that, because either it was too structured, it was too loose. It was, there was just that transition. What has the transition been like for you moving into that space?
Well, for me, I've been away from, music for so many years that that didn't affect it. In fact, I think it helped, especially in post, especially editing and stuff that. And,
for sure.
I think is that reaching back on those skills helped me a lot, Now, about learning how to do this, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, obviously.
Right.
It's education. I would definitely tell anyone that wanted to get into this to take a few courses in interviewing. You want to do your own thing. Yes, off the cuff, and you got your own nuanced way of approaching it. But there are some. There is a science to it,
right?
And you can play with it and make it your own thing. But there is a science to engaging and talking with people, interpersonal communication. Take a communication class. I mean, you don't have to formally go to a university to do that. You can go online and do it,
right?
A lot of us say, "Well, I don't need to do all that. I don't need it." One of those people too, right? But there are some tools you can pick up and learn, and watch other people do it. Watch the most successful people do it. No, you're not trying to mimic what they do. You're not trying to copy their format. But there are some principles about this, just like music, just like audio recording. There's principles that are just principles to it that you're going to do. So that was the thing that I took from it. I studied a little too much. I kept studying because I didn't want to do it wrong. I had, wanted to be perfect coming out of the gate, and it's not. You're going to do all this studying. You're going to do all this learning from other people, and then you're going to do your own thing. You're going to fall on your face. that's where the education comes in at, as you probably learned yourselves, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You figure out what works for you, what doesn't work. You know, the mics were too hot. You know, the intro wasn't right. You know, maybe we shouldn't talk over each other as much. Things like that. In particular, when you're doing it with another person, it's easier when you do it by yourself because you're your own singular personality. You're the king of your own ship. When you share a format with someone, you have to be more diplomatic.
Right.
I don't care how cool you are together and how, you know, how long you get along with you. Maybe you go on double dates every other day with your wives and stuff like that. You're still going to come to a point where there's going to be a little,
Always.
I don't want to do it like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No,
100%.
I don't like what you just said or whatever,
Yep.
you know. So those conversations and having those, that dialogue off camera about how we want to do things and, you know, how you feel about this.
It's huge.
And approaching it a certain way,
Yep.
right? That's what I had to learn with doing the podcast with another person is how to approach it. Because I came into our podcast as a co-host, but I came in with the technical part, you know. So, and me having this background and stuff, you know, I'm kind
Right.
of like, I know how one day, man, you need to sit over there. Hey, man, your mic need to always be here, you know. And when I see the mic over here and we're talking and I see that mic over here and I'm like, put your mic over there.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So things like that you just have to be able to approach the other person in a way that say, hey, look, you know, what do you think about this? I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
If you see like the first videos of our podcast, which were, you know, we were evolving, and we're still evolving, but those are like the first videos. We're sitting in the, we do this show at a place called the Nook Kitchen. It's
Okay.
a nice little swanky restaurant bar type thing that my man Rayshon, he has a relationship with them, and they were gracious enough to allow us to do this because we didn't have a place to do the podcast.
That's dope.
And so they have this, what is called the Godfather seat. Right?
Okay.
I mean, like people book this thing like when it's open. I mean, it's like stay booked.
Okay.
So we are both side by side looking into the camera here, and we're both just side by side. About a month ago, he comes to me and say, you know, hey, man, what you think about us? Because, you know, it kind of swerved and then it go into a corner.
Like catty corner, yeah.
And he said, why don't we go in the corner there? Now I've already got the cameras, finally got it, you know.
Everything where you want it to be.
And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm kind of liking the way it come out and stuff. And he's like, and I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, I don't want to do that. But something said, no, Shaka, this is just as much as that. See how it works. Sometimes you got to let a person see what doesn't work and what works.
Right.
You may already feel like you know it's not going to work. I don't like it. But he has to know that it doesn't work and doesn't
Right.
like it. So in order to avoid the confrontation, let's do it. And for whatever reason it doesn't work, the camera can't get there, or this doesn't work, or that, or it's too far out of the shot, he'll come to the realization, yeah, you're right, man. Maybe we should do it the other way.
100%.
So that was the approach I took to that. I love the angle. I like it. I look at it because I do the editing.
Okay.
And I look at it back, you know, and I'm positioning and everything. Yeah, that does look good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I can offer on that, you know, as far as developing and how you approach this. Everybody's you can watch videos all day long till your eyes fall out of your head.
Yeah.
It's totally different when you set your own camera up, put your own mics up, you know.
I think that's key too. You kind of said it in the beginning about the cell phone and a ring light, and I think it's key for people who's out there and who's either listening or watching this. Just start it.
Absolutely.
I think that is the biggest thing. I think it's the biggest piece of advice is to just start it, because everything else, to your point, right? You should look at the way other people, especially people you admire, who like it could be anybody, right? It could be anybody's style that you really like. Watch it,
Yes.
and look at that, and look at what they do. But I tell you what, I think the biggest thing, because him and I run across a lot of people, a lot, because they know what we do, and they were like, "I want to start a podcast." Well, at this point, we stopped like I'm like, do it, just do it. Like, because we've gone so far with so many people, and they never start it. And it's like, exactly, you guys have great ideas, do it. Just start it. Right. And I just really want to put that out there for people. Yeah. And I think it's really important. You are going to fail. Yeah, you're going to hate the shots. You're going to hate the way you interview. You're going to hate the way you talk. You're going to hate the way you sound.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to hate the way the lights look. It's a work in progress. Just start it. Even if you trash the first 2 or 3 or whatever, and just go, we can redo that later. I don't like that. That did not turn out good.
And that's the beauty of it, too, because it's your content. It's your product. It's yours. You don't even have to ever publish it if you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's yours. It's not like you working for a network and they're telling you we got to have this by Friday, and you're like, oh God, I don't like I got a bump on my lip and I can't. Right. I don't like that shot. So you're absolutely right. I think it was kind of coming from a technical background, that music background, audio engineering. I mean, at one point I had a lot of gear. So I came from that standpoint. I walked in knowing that I wanted to have the business, right? So that was my problem right there. Had I been somebody that never gone to recording industry school, never done that kind of stuff, I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have gotten the cheapest camera I can find. I probably would have gotten the best phone I could find, maybe in a ring light and some lights, and gone out and did it, and would have been really successful, maybe. You don't know what you don't know. Right. But coming from that background where I know that, I wanted to start from at least a prosumer level, the stuff is not cheap.
No, that's true.
So I watch a lot of podcasts and I see their setup and I'm like, yeah, that's expensive. I have one light setup that, and mind you, I didn't go out and get all the stuff at once.
Of course.
Over time.
It takes time. Yes.
I know
I know
people can't see this on camera or you listen, but there's a lot of gear in this.
Yes,
room.
They don't see all the stuff. Yes,
it gets a little pricey, but it took years for us to get all this.
And you talk about, like, you say, I need a camera. So you go to Amazon and you see the smorgasbord of cameras, and you fall on one. You say, okay, I can't afford the $3,000 camera. I don't want the $2,000 camera. I'll settle on the $1,000 camera, which is really good for podcasts. I mean, that's all you need.
Right.
But then somebody tells you, oh, you need 3 of them.
Right. No, that's facts. That is,
a Shure mic.
True.
I need a Shure mic, man. I saved 2 months to get this $300, $400 mic. You need 3 of them. So I won't go on and on about that, but you get my point. That it gets expensive. Your ideals and your dream about how you want it, you see, and I notice on you guys do it so well. You go from one camera to the next, close-ups and things like that.
All shout out to Dre on this podcast. That's all him. Man.
Shout out Dre. Shout out. He's
an
amazing job.
He's a great editor.
Yes.
He really is.
But that that's expensive. If you don't want the one camera doing the one thing in front of you, and you say, I want something. There's 3 cameras, 2 cameras.
Yeah.
So So I mean, it can cost. So first, you want to lay out what you want to do and how you want to do it, and do your research. But I totally agree with you. You have to get out there and do it, because you can have all this stuff, and if you don't have any talent, and if you don't have any ideas, if you're not creative, if you don't have, it's not going to work. People want to. I know. I listen to podcasts that the person does not show their face, and they got tens of thousands of subscribers. They get tens of thousands of listeners every time they broadcast. That's amazing to me, because it's about what they're saying.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what you're saying trumps all of the stuff. If you resonate with people,
or if you got a fantastic voice, you know what I mean. Like,
come on, you shut the game down, man. You shut the game down.
Thousands of views.
I'm telling you, right,
listeners, right there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shut down the game right there. That's all you need. Talk about a golden voice. Man. This is the new Casey Kasem right here, man.
Come on,
man. Come on. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna AI his voice, man.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should
AI your voice.
Is that okay?
And license, and we're gonna license it too, right?
Man.
So you're gonna come to me, you're gonna say, Shaka, man, what you doing with my voice, man? I own that, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
If you want your voice back, it's gonna cost you. Oh, you speaking where? You can't speak there, man.
Oh, that's
You
crazy.
can't speak there. I think that's my conspiracy. I think that's where it's going to go.
I need to get on legals. I need to get on LegalZoom
There you
tomorrow.
go. Yeah, there you go. You're going to license in insurance
I
your
wonder.
voice.
Like, we're there, so let's just go down the tangent. I wonder if that isn't on its way soon of being able to trademark. Can you trade? I don't know. Can you trademark a voice? You can't, right?
I don't know, but I know
They're fighting legally now about what. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I know on the new Apple phones, the new software update that'll be pushed out to everybody, is you can do your own voice and make it like Siri. So all you have to do is speak the words in to the phone, the keywords, and your voice will become Siri.
Yeah,
So
but
that technology is already there in that sort of sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like
the technology is there already.
because of the AI. I wonder if at some point
I don't know.
we're looking
I
at
don't
being
think
able to license and trademark
I don't think you can.
a voice.
I don't think you can. I think
my
you
thing
can do
is-
a likeness.
Well, my thing is, so you're talking about entertainment for a regular consumer. Now, this is just my idea. I don't know if this is how it works. You know, you buy this little app, you're the consumer. Oh, I want to sound like Biggie Smalls, right? Oh, haha, it's fine. Well, whoever got the app owns the app that's using the Biggie Small voice. That's the issue that I'm talking about. Like, you're paying somebody for that.
Right.
Yeah,
You see
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
know.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
that's interesting.
That's what I'm
Imagine
saying. Like
that's-
it might be on
Yeah,
the
I
way.
don't know.
Yeah, Congress right now is debating this whole AI thing about where it's going to go and who knows what they want to
It's
do about it.
weird and
but-
it's a little scary,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not terrified of it, but it is a little scary because you're just like, well, but then again, what is safe to do?
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know
I mean,
what
if I
is,
was
you know.
if I were Denzel Washington or Samuel Jackson or I don't know somebody like that, and they would use, and I went with my girl to watch a movie, and I saw somebody using my voice, that's a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
100%.
me,
Yeah.
you know, Shaka, I hear my voice up there. Well, you know, my voice, I don't make money like that. I don't use my likeness to make money on that
That's
level
what I'm
yet.
saying. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Yeah, so you know, I think that would be, and I think they need to. They're probably working on how they're going to do that and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we're seeing it now with, even with streaming and, you know, with the actors and writers strike in Hollywood, you know, nobody's being compensated for anything, right?
Yeah.
You do something, they pay you $5,000. See, have a good day, and something's making billions of dollars, and nobody's being compensated
right.
for it.
And
So,
to your point, though, I mean, like, you know, you sign a contract with a studio or a record label or something like that, and they say, you know, 5 years later, you know, you're hearing some new guy that just came up and he has your voice, and you say, hey, whoa, this guy's got my voice singing my songs. I'm not my songs, but singing the songs with my voice. Yeah, but, you know, 20 years ago when you were in the game, you signed this contract, we own the right. Oh, this on line 7, it says here, your voice too.
yeah.
See, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of how the game
Right, that's
would
what
be
I'm saying,
done
like,
that.
the-
You know,
the
like
licensing and stuff,
you
that's crazy.
assign away something that you really don't know historically that's happened to billions of people,
Especially in the
you know,
entertainment industry.
entertainment industry.
for sure.
So I'm kind of think that maybe that's stuff that people should be concerned about, because when you sign these contracts, there's always going to be a thirsty person that's going to sign that contract.
Yep.
How many billions of people have said, I've gotten screwed over, whether it's a movie studio or a record label, especially notorious record labels.
record labels,
But there's still a new crop of people the next year that's willing to sign that,
Oh,
that contract.
every single time.
Remember
Yeah.
when the 360 came out and everybody
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
that's horrible. Who would do that? You know, whoever got caught in it, that's the last of caught. No, people are still signing up
Oh,
for
yeah.
People are
it.
still
Still
Because
signing
they're
the
thirsty for that
360s.
fame, and they're thirsty
yeah.
for the, you know, for the possibility of getting
Stardom.
on.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I
went on a real tangent right there.
Hey, it happens.
Don't get Shaka to talking.
Well, since we are on a quick little tangent, and you've mentioned it a couple times, you've had you have a lot of gear. Do you still have all this gear?
The recording gear, I
gear-
didn't.
You
The
got
recording
rid of
gear,
everything?
I got rid of everything over
Really?
the years. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'll tell you the story. So once I realized I worked corrections for 8 years.
Okay.
State corrections here in Arizona. And every dime I got outside of, paying bills went to buying another piece of gear. I know you know what that's like.
100%.
You see that Focusrite, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
It's like it's $1,500 and you're like, okay, that's 3 checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
2
Legit.
checks, whatever.
Yep.
So I got to a point where I had all this gear and I was not doing what I wanted to do. And I'm working a 9 to 5, right? Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, I talked myself into believing that, hey, look, I can't continue to do this. I can't keep buying this stuff. And I'm not, flourishing in this business.
Right.
It became a professional hobby at that point. So, unfortunately, I made the decision that I was going to, just shut it down and, start getting rid of the gear. And slowly I did that. 5 years, 6 years later, I went through a hard period, and it dawned on me why I was having such a hard time. I never made the connection until this point that it was because I didn't have that to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
In music, people think music is just entertainment, but for us as creators, as far as producers and things like that, beat makers or whatever, it's therapeutic, man.
Mad therapeutic.
It's like when you're on the edge, or you very seldom get on the edge because you have that thing there.
Yep.
You have that thing to go to, and I didn't have it anymore. And I did it to myself. I took it away. So I realized I made the biggest mistake in my life. So if I have to say anything to your viewers, please do not get rid of your gear. I don't care if it sits in your garage for 15 years. You know it's there. One day you're going to fire everything back up again.
Oh, yeah.
And I had nothing to fire back up on.
So have you purchased anything? Because I'm going to tell you, something. That's a constant knock for people who have done music in some sort of way, right? It's a knock. It's a lack of a better term. It's an ex-girlfriend knocking on. Hey, look, I was the best thing you ever had. Come back over here.
It keeps calling me.
So my question is that in the car? Like, are you going to get just one little?
I'm in love with this video stuff, man. Okay. And I don't.
I agree.
But let me say this though, I don't think there's much of a difference. I really don't. One is audio video.
Yep.
I think they're very close cousins.
100%.
Maybe even siblings.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nothing for me to step into a studio right now after not being in one in a long time and knowing exactly what to do.
Yep. 100%.
I know that board like the back and go to any board and do whatever. Now, you might not like what comes out of it or whatever, but I'm saying I can know my way around. It never leaves you. It never leaves you.
It doesn't.
So to your question, I'm always open to that, but I'm in love with this stuff here. I'm in love with. Let me tell you what my day is like. This is not a pat on the back because it's really counterintuitive. It's really, I've seen smart people do it. The way you do it is smart. The way Miss Days does it, Blaze does it is smart. The way TJ do it is smart. I'm taking all this stuff. Imagine C-stands, heavy lights, bulbs, the tripods, the whole rig. I'm lugging all that stuff all over the valley to get this content. You guys are smart. You say, okay, be at my place at 10 o'clock.
Right.
I will say, though, you're smart, though, because nobody's really doing that.
Yes.
I would actually flip the script on that and say you're more of the smarter one because there is not much content like that. Most content is shot in a place of a studio that we are in currently right now.
Yeah.
So I like it visually. I've watched some of your content, and I really enjoy that you are in businesses.
Yes.
And you're sitting there having a one-on-one with them.
Yes.
Like, it's pleasing to see it out and about, and and there's nothing wrong with studio. This is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Too. It's just two different medium or two different spaces, that are working kind of differently. And I think it favors you to kind of go out, and showcase these businesses, not just the people, but actually their business.
Absolutely. And that was my ideal. That was my, that was my goal to do that. And it's been very rewarding, and I've learned a lot. Every environment has a different lighting situation.
Yep.
Aside from learning just basic lighting principle, period. Having to deal with that in different environments, setting up and things like that, and meeting the people that are coming into the business and stuff like that. So yeah, I like the way I do it. I don't, either one or two things is going to happen in a year or two. With African American made. Either I'm going to get some help, or I'm going to probably transition into something else as the African American made become more known. But I love the way I'm doing it, because I do get to get out there and find out what's going on. Coming from a music background, I keep pointing at you. You was in music too, but you got that voice, man. I got to hear you on a track. I know you on a track somewhere. You got to be on a track somewhere.
He's on plenty of tracks.
Oh, I got to hear it. I got to hear it.
That too.
Oh my goodness, I got to hear about a track.
Oh, man.
But talking to these people and engaging with them has been very rewarding, in getting to know a lot of people, making relationships too.
It's the best
My goal
part.
is about relationships.
Best part
So
of
let
what
me
we
switch
do.
it just a little bit,
Yeah,
since
for
I'm on a
sure.
relationship thing. The same principle with Rayshon and Shaka podcast, right? My ideal is to do more podcasts. Maybe other subjects and things like that.
Okay, like different shows.
Yeah, maybe a reaction show or something like that. And we didn't want to really do a reaction show with this. We want to kind of keep it the way it is. But eventually we want to have like people that come in with some kind of like outrageous thing, right? Like maybe somebody that, that's into guns or something like that.
Okay.
Or somebody that does something kind of like, not just the regular normal stuff, but something kind of like edgy.
Okay. Fair enough.
We're kind of working that out. But I want to do something political. I want to do a political thing, and I want to do kind of like a reaction to something, whatever. So there are several ideals out there that we want to do, but it takes time, and it's a learning. Each endeavor is a learning experience. I want to say that I have not made $1 from any of this yet. I haven't made $1 from it. So the initial goal with African American Made was that, we, get all these amazing people on a platform, start doing lives and things like that, and hopefully start generating some income like that. Well, that hasn't happened yet, but hopefully that's in the work.
Right.
Rayshon and Shaka podcast is a totally different thing. But what I want to say about the podcast and the other platform is that it's about relationships. There are a lot of people out here doing content. I just happen to, stumble on them looking at other stuff.
Yep.
And they all have low numbers. What we're not understanding is that it's a community. Now we'll use the word community. We have to build that community by doing what you do and what I do. Is that engaging with people and not being afraid to have somebody that does a podcast down the street from you to come on your show.
100%.
If I got 50 subscribers and you got 50, we could share those. Both of us could have 100.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we have to learn that. We have to learn that now. I'm late in the game. During COVID, can I say COVID now?
Yeah.
It's a cool.
Yeah. You said pandemic. We use all the damn words.
The whole thing shut down. I like many people, I watched a lot of content. And I realized that, where have I been? Working, doing this, doing that. Man, people out here getting it on the internet.
100%.
So I feel like I'm kind of late in the game, So, but we can do it. We could definitely have podcasts or content YouTube channels with high numbers. I look at a lot of local people. We all have low numbers. There's no reason for it. Yeah. I think it's because what you said earlier at the top of the show is that I won't say necessarily a crab in a bucket thing, but I'm just doing my own thing over here.
Right.
But if you want to grow, you got to engage. All the big YouTube channels, or the big ones I watch at least, they co-op with other people.
100%.
And that's how you grow a channel.
Yep.
we need to get on that.
Yeah.
Definitely need to get on that.
Agreed.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
you guys are already doing it, but I'm saying like more of us out here need to do it.
But yeah, like I want you to cook on this because I know you feel strongly about this, but
100%.
I just really agree. Like the best thing about doing this is the relationships.
Yeah.
Like just talking to you now, right, and seeing here, I can already tell you we'll have a relationship, even if we don't talk all the time. At least
course.
we'll know.
Yeah.
Hey, we can, come back on our show. Let's talk, what are we doing? Let's spin the block. Let's come back year round. What's going on here? What's going on here? And just having that relationship is a beautiful thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the best part of what we do, right? And when we started, it was just him and I, and that was it, right? And then we started getting into the interviews. So a little bit different path because you went straight into the interviews, but as you go through it, you're like, I mean, 90% of the people that we've talked to, I can reach out to anytime, and they will always hit me back.
Yeah.
And whether it's a question, whether it's, hey, how you doing? Hey, I haven't heard from you in a minute. You good? The family good?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're killing it. Whatever the case may be, with the relationship part of it is just, and like you said earlier, the dopest thing about it is that as you continue that journey, get into that circle, now it's like, hey, come holler at my boy right here. You know what? You need to go see them down on whatever street.
Absolutely.
And then now you start realizing that network is just and organically expanding, because when you're around good people who are creative, who are doing their thing, or just even having the owner, just being an owner of whatever businesses that is a creation. You are still creative in that space. Not only does it put a proverbial battery in your back, but then you start to do that for other people as well, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think that's, you doing that it's tremendous. Tremendous.
For me, going in and out of these businesses, talking to these people, my personal agenda is to learn something from it. A restaurant, let's just say a restaurant. What good is it for me to go there and spend time asking this person all these questions, put up this content, if I haven't learned anything about how they run a restaurant? I mean, they're not going to tell me what's in the stew or nothing, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's an opportunity, because when people invite you in their space, that means a lot.
100%.
They're saying, I take a chance on you. My content, when I go to a place and they allow me in there, I think they value what I do. Of course, maybe they think that they're going to get some extra people walking the door by maybe just another platform that could showcase what they do. Everybody has a personal agenda. There's nothing wrong with that. But on top of all that is, I dig what you're doing, and I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to allow you in my space.
Yep.
When people see you got something of value, because let's be honest, there's a lot of effery going on out there on the internet, right?
Yep.
People, just buffoonery.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're doing is something a little different. Now, we're going to inject a little levity, a little fun in it, have fun with it and things like that. But I think we're on the spirit of really trying to build a community, like you said, organically. African American made in and of itself a black thing saying like promote black business. That's not a new thing. In fact, I learned and I thought, I was under this pressure. I've been out here 20 years and I always thought, well, like a lot of people, well, we need a black platform. We need a black, there's a bunch of them out there. There's a lot of black this, black that, promote this, black businesses. A lot of them are posing as networking social media or what they call networking platforms. Right? They're not really. Well, I say they're not really. They could be. I don't know. But it seems to me that they're not really doing what we do. What they're doing is they're using it as a way to say, okay, be a part of my network, and I'll introduce you to all these other people.
Right.
In what I do, I don't act as a gatekeeper. I want to be a conduit. You know what I'm saying? So just like TJ said, hey, go check out these guys over here, TJ has nothing to do with it, that's exactly what I do.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you're trying to start, perfect example, I Color Star Prince. Brother also has he does videos, he does music videos too.
Okay.
Decided he wanted to get into the printing business, whatever. I talked to a young guy, said that he was interested in doing that. Go talk to my man. He does it. Maybe he'll be able to put you on to something.
Right.
That's a conduit.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing to do with it. Or if you see a video, that's why I put all the information about the person in the video. You don't ever have to talk to Shaka Shabazz. But if I hear somewhere that A went and talked to B as a result of that video, I'm content.
Yeah. Yep.
So not to say that I'm an altruistic person or anything like that, but that's the beauty of what we're trying to do.
Yes. 100%.
So yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Shaka, was there anything that we missed that we didn't cover?
My next album coming out in December.
That was
Gonna be
great.
fire.
We always looking for that drop too, man. We always looking
Yeah, I
for
saw
it.
you had a guy on. I know we're wrapping it up. I was listening to the brother had AZ Hip Hop at azrap.com. Deep in the music game here. I learned a lot from that, listening to that video. You also had the brother that has the bookshop. I have not had a chance to get around there yet. I did send him an email months ago. I never got anything back. But the bookstore, right?
Yeah, Grassroots. Yep.
Grassroots bookstore.
Yep.
I definitely want to profile that brother and their place as well.
Yeah, Brother
I have a long list, but so yeah, I dig what you guys are doing. But the brother with I learned a lot on that. I didn't know that AZ rap was popping like that. I really didn't know. I didn't know
Was it the
that.
Matlocks one?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it
he had
recently?
the internet. He had the internet station. He was talking about how they started the internet platform. Then they had the channel, and then he sold it eventually. He sold the platform. I know you're like me. You talk to so many people. You don't remember. But,
I'm going.
yeah, but he gave the whole rundown, like how he started in the music business and here locally, and then he was getting all these artists from outside of AZ that wanted to put their stuff on this platform.
Yeah. Blaze Rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was Blaze
Rock.
It was
Yeah.
Blaze Rock.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
It was AZ Hip Hop. Yep.
That's
AZ
right.
Hip Hop, yeah.
Blaze
We
Rock.
do so many, man.
Shout out to Blaze Rock, man.
Yeah, shout out, man.
Good. So people are watching this stuff, man.
Yeah.
I watch, and when I engage, I watch the content. Because the other thing is, watch the content. Please watch the content. I'm talking directly to you guys. Watch the content. It means so much to us. There's a lot of work that goes into this, I know my man, he's the man with the golden voice and everything, but editing and the whole background stuff after you get off, it's a whole nother thing. And so for someone to watch your video, it means a lot.
It means a ton.
It does.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Shaka, thank you again.
No, thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on.
Look forward to more of the African American Made. Look forward to more of the Rayshon and Shaka and whatever other shows that you're going to curate real soon here.
Go definitely get you on the Rayshon and Shaka show.
Hey,
Okay.
You already know what it's about over there, so all right.
Say the
So
word.
Yeah.
Say the word. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, definitely get you on there. for
Thank you,
sure.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
No,
man.
thank you,
We really
guys.
do appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's been an awesome time.
Yeah,
and
thank
we
you.
we
Thank
do
you.
look forward to collabing
Absolutely.
in the future.
Anything I
whatever
can
that
do,
look like,
anything I can do to help or throw my hand in or whatever, just holler at me.
Awesome,
Absolutely.
man. We really do
And we're down
appreciate
the
it.
street. I'm down the street from you, so
That's true. You are.
yeah, absolutely. You need a mic. You need a mic or something or whatever. Oh, I know you got to go, but I got
No,
to tell
you're
you
good.
this. I got to tell you this. So I just spent $800 on batteries.
For like lights and cameras and stuff like that. Yeah.
Things
That
are
could be-
not cheap.
No.
They're not cheap. Now, I could have went with the Pinto, but of course, coming from core engineering,
Right.
Oh, it lasts 5 minutes longer than the other one for $100 more. Yeah, I want that one.
Right.
So I just got new gear, some additional gear, because I was like, plugging up because I did not want to go the battery route, right?
Right.
So I was plugging up everywhere I went. But we're going to start doing some location stuff with Rayshon and Shaka. So I invested in these batteries. Just to say, man, the stuff, it never stops.
It never stops.
It never stops.
It never stops.
It doesn't.
2 weeks ago, we went to the boxing match. Would have loved to have you guys there. That would have been awesome.
Okay.
So this guy called OG Boxing, and he does boxing. He promotes boxing matches around the valley.
Okay.
Very good, great turnout. They've been gracious enough to allow us to do an on-location thing when they have their fights.
Oh, okay.
So the last, not the one I just posted this week, but last week you'll see us on location there, our first on location, and I did a montage of the fight and the event after the fight. So I say all that to say that we need to get out in the community too.
100%.
Because we can grow. We can grow as podcasters in Arizona. I can't say this enough. We have hundreds of podcasters out here. If we create a network, we can all blow. Or most of us, not all of us, but
Right.
some of us are just not going to. Some of us just don't have the golden voice.
Come on now.
Thank you guys so much.
This is going to be the name of this episode, The Golden Voice.
All right. That's cool.
The Golden Voice episode, man.
Thank you so much.
Again,
Thank you guys.
we appreciate it, and we will sprinkle everything down below, too, So
Okay, great.
We will do that for
Great.
you. You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space. Peace.